Starting us off at number 10, we have the Justin Timberlake cheating scandal. If you missed this one, then prepare for your heart to be broken because, oh, this one hurts. Fans adore Justin and his wife Jessica Biel, who are married and have 2 kids together. Honestly, they seem to be the power couple in Hollywood. But that all changed in 2019 when photos leaked online showing Justin holding hands and getting cozy with his co-star Alicia Wainwright. The pictures were taken in New Orleans where he was filming, and apparently the cast had a night off and decided to go to a local bar. In the pictures, Justin is having drinks, holding her hand, and she is also stroking his knee at one point. But what most people pointed out very quickly was that he did not have his wedding ring on. For obvious reasons, this started a huge cheating rumor mill, but Justin released a public statement saying nothing happened further than those photos. He apologized and said that his actions were wrong, and Jessica Biel gave him a chance to prove himself. She was very forgiving. Up next, number 9, we have the epic elevator fight. This one shocked everyone when video footage surfaced in 2014 of Solange Knowles and Jay-Z having an argument in an elevator. Surveillance footage at a hotel caught Solange physically attacking her brother-in-law, who didn't put his hands on her at any point in this footage. It was a bit confusing for people to watch because the elevator ride was just quiet and normal at first, but then what seemed like out of nowhere, she just snaps and starts to kick him. Fans got an explanation later on when reports claimed that she was mad at Jay-Z for allegedly getting too close with Rachel Roy, his business partner's wife. But the 2 of them spoke on it later on and said that alcohol was involved and that they have worked it out and they are on good terms again. Basically, they said it was very simple. They are like brother and sister, and so they fight like brother and sister. I've been there. My sister's chased me around with a hammer one day and then loves me the next. And that's a fact. Cruising to the number 8 spot is Miley Cyrus's bong video. Back in 2010, this was one of the biggest scandals to happen because it was a Disney star gone wild situation. Miley had been exposed on social media and in paparazzi many times, but she doesn't seem too bothered by it usually. But she probably cared a little bit more about this scandal because someone exposed her online in a video of her hitting a bong on her 18th birthday. Let's keep in mind that during this time, this was not legal by any means, and she was still associated with the Disney Channel, so obviously it was very detrimental to her career and reputation. After Disney started making public statements about it, Miley claimed that she was smoking salvia, which is a natural and legal herb with psychedelic properties. No one believed her though, in all honesty, and then years down the road she admitted to what it really was, which we already knew. But okay, Miley. Cruising into number 7 is Ariana Grande and the donut. This one is a little more ridiculous compared to the other ones. Who would have thought a donut would cause so much drama? Back in 2015, Ariana was exposed after someone posted surveillance footage of her licking a donut. She and her boyfriend at the time, Ricky Alvarez, decided to play truth or dare at a donut shop, and apparently that was one of the dares. In the footage, you can see them daring each other to lick the donuts that were on display for purchase. People thought it was inconsiderate to the business, obviously, but there was more to it. In the video, you can also hear her saying, "I hate Americans, I hate America." So obviously, Americans weren't very thrilled about it. She faced a ton of backlash for it and released an apology video taking responsibility for her actions. Like, what? Who'd be out here just licking donuts on display? She probably had to buy them all after that. In spot number 6, we have Winona Ryder's shoplifting scandal. She has one of the most trending surveillance tapes from any celebrity misconduct that's ever been caught on camera. The footage was released back in 2001 when she was one of the biggest Hollywood stars at the time that everyone was talking about. But then everyone was talking about her for all the wrong reasons. Video footage leaked and showed her shoplifting merchandise worth $5,000 from Saks Fifth Avenue in Beverly Hills. The incident and legal battle put her career on hold for a while, but later down the road she said that it was the best thing that could have happened to her at that point in her life. She explained and said that she felt like she was hitting a wall, and what happened gave her the time off that she needed. Honestly, I don't get when like celebrities shoplift. Like, you are rich and you could probably get half that stuff for free simply because of who you are. Like, what are you doing shoplifting? You have $5,000. Halfway through our list, at number 5, we have Kylie Jenner's pregnancy. pregnancy? Well, Kylie Jenner's secret pregnancy. That is why it was such a controversy. Normally, a woman becoming pregnant is very exciting news, but because she was 20 at the time and keeping it a secret, it was a more scandalous situation. Back in 2018, Kylie seemed to go quiet for a while from the Hollywood limelight, and no one understood why. For months, people were speculating that she was pregnant, but no one could ever get confirmation until the paparazzi finally got pictures of her with her very pregnant belly. The photos leaked online and it caused some outrage because fans just didn't know why she kept it a secret. She ended up apologizing in an Instagram post saying, "I'm sorry for keeping you in the dark through all the assumptions. I understand you're used to me bringing you along on all my journeys. My pregnancy was one I chose not to do in front of the world." She shared her entire pregnancy though in a video called "To Our Daughter," which was filled with videos and photos that she took along the way while she was hiding it from the world. It was actually beautiful. I watched it. It was so cute. Sniping our number 4 spot is David Hasselhoff Drunken Hamburger Feast. If this is your first time hearing about it, then you're probably really confused as to what I'm talking about. It seems silly at first, but it was actually a lot more serious than people knew. The video footage surfaced online back in 2007 and was actually exposed on social media by his own daughter. She didn't have bad intentions, she just posted the video clips online thinking no one would see it or that no one would really pay attention to it. The video showed her dad completely wasted, lying on the floor, struggling to eat a hamburger, which normally would be funny to watch, but he is a recovering addict and the video exposed that he was no longer sober like he was claiming to be. In the video, you can hear his 16-year-old daughter saying, I quote, "Dad, you need to promise me you're not gonna get alcohol tonight, okay? If you get alcohol tonight, you are fired from your show tomorrow. And a doctor is coming over here in the morning to check your alcohol level, and if there's any alcohol in your system, you're going to be fired." So it was actually a lot more serious than people thought. David ended up admitting to his relapse and issued an apology. In our 3rd spot, we have Amouranth got banned from Twitch. The content creator's real name is Caitlyn Jenner, and she is one of the biggest streamers on the platform. She was banned recently after doing a live stream which they deemed as inappropriate. She told Polygon that the reason behind her ban was sexual content. In the stream that had her banned, she did an ASMR yoga stream where she held various yoga poses and then simulated the sound of having your ear licked using her microphone. She didn't find the ban fair and said that she's not the first person to do an ASMR yoga stream, but her content has pushed the boundaries on more than one occasion. She has also been criticized for doing hot tub ASMR live streams where she does similar things while wearing a bikini. The internet wants her completely canceled into her career, and she said she's considered leaving the Twitch platform after all the hate she is getting. Moving on to the number 2 spot is Kate Moss gets caught with substances. The famous incident happened in 2005, and by that time, everyone knew that the English supermodel was having some substance issues, but this was the first time that her addiction came out as a legit story. Video footage surfaced online showing the model snorting 5 lines in the course of 40 minutes. Turns out there was a hidden camera in the recording studio that she had been hanging out in with her then boyfriend Pete Doherty. Once the photos and video footage surfaced everywhere, she lost all of her fashion clients like Burberry and H&M, who ended their campaigns with her immediately. All of the contracts that she lost were worth more than $4 million. Rumor has it though that the only brand to actually stick by her during that time was Chanel, who announced that they were willing to renew her contract despite what happened in that video. Earning a number 1 spot is Caitlyn Jenner's car accident. This one is more serious than some of the other ones on our list, and it turned into a significant legal battle. Caitlyn got into a car accident back in 2015, which quickly turned into a serious lawsuit after one person was killed. Caitlyn was uninjured in the crash, but after being exposed on social media, she was deemed a lawsuit for wrongful death. Video footage was posted online which captured the entire accident on camera, showing Caitlyn's Escalade. Her Escalade was carrying an off-road vehicle, and she ended up hitting 2 cars, causing one car to hit the other car. One of the drivers, Kim Howe, was 69 years old at the time and sadly passed away in the crash. At the time of the investigation, even though the tape clearly shows who is at fault, she was able to walk away without any charges. However, 3 years after the accident in 2018, 2017, she was sentenced to pay $800,000 for the settlement of the case. Kicking off our countdown at number 10 is the Kevin Hart cheating scandal. In 2017, he broke the internet after video footage leaked and showed him with another woman. Allegations flooded the internet claiming that he had cheated on his wife at the time, Aniko Parrish, who was 8 months pregnant with their son. Kevin was denying the rumors at the time, but then landed in the middle of an extortion attempt. Someone allegedly was in possession of a video of him with another woman engaging in sexual activity, and they were going to expose him if he did not give the money. Aniko later explained how she found out about the cheating scandal, and it was actually through a DM. She said, "I was about 7 or 8 months pregnant and I was having breakfast and I opened my phone and immediately I just lost it." Kevin finally admitted to it and released a public apology to his wife and family, and the two of them worked through it and they are still together to this day. They even have more babies together. Moving on to number 9, we have the infamous Pamela Anderson sex tape. This scandal is so crazy that it's almost too crazy to believe, but it is still one of the most talked about controversies. They actually have a TV series coming out about it. It was back in 1995 when she made a tape with her husband at the time, Tommy Lee. They made the tape during their honeymoon and said that it was never meant for anyone else's eyes. But just a few months after being filmed, it was being watched by millions of people. Turns out they were having their Malibu home renovated and had many workers at the time working on their home. An electrician named Rand Gauthier said that they owed him $20,000 but refused to pay it, so he wanted revenge. He ended up plotting a heist and stole their safe from their garage, which was filled with their jewelry, other prized possessions, and their tape. In order to avoid the security cameras, he disguised himself as the couple's dog by draping a white fur cover over himself, and then once he was inside, he lifted the safe and used a U-Haul dolly to move it. Like, I'm not even kidding, you cannot make this up. Of course, he then leaked the tape and it actually made $77 million in less than 12 months. Wow. In the number 8 spot is Mike Tindall. This was one of the biggest cheating scandals in Hollywood because it is never a good idea to cheat on the Queen of England's granddaughter. The English rugby player cheated on his wife Zara Phillips back in 2011. Well, he did, or he attempted to, we're still not very sure. It was only a few weeks after he married the second child of Queen Elizabeth's daughter, Anne. Video footage captured him kissing, so I guess he technically did cheat then. But he still denies it. Anyway, video footage captured him kissing a mysterious blonde woman in New Zealand, and the world was shocked. The incident was caught on CCTV cameras and then went viral immediately. Because it involved a member of the royal family, the scandal blew up even bigger than people expected. However, despite the massive scandal, the two of them continued to stay married. Moving on to number 7, we have Reese Witherspoon's DUI. That is a sentence that I never thought I would say. No one wants their personal life getting caught on camera, but you most definitely do not want a DUI getting caught on camera. Or your legal record for that. It's worse in Reese's case because hers was filmed and then exposed to the entire world. It happened back in 2013 when she was with her husband at the time, Jim Toth, and they were pulled over by an Atlanta cop on suspicion of a DUI. The police dash cam caught the whole thing on tape and showed Reese going into some erratic rage, which actually led to her being arrested. Her husband was the one driving, so he was actually the one with the drink driving charge, but Reese was intoxicated and just felt feisty, and she felt the need to stick up for her husband. In the video, you can see Reese yelling at the police officers and not listening to their orders, which were telling her to sit down. They ended up putting her in handcuffs, and then she lies to them saying that she's pregnant and has to pee as an attempt to get out of the handcuffs. They ended up both being arrested, and she ended up pleading no contest to physical obstruction of another, and Jim pled guilty to his DUI. Rolling into the number 6 spot is Tristan Thompson caught cheating. Technically speaking, his scandal was 2 different times because he was caught cheating twice. What a guy. The first time was when his girlfriend Khloe Kardashian was in the hospital about to give birth to their daughter. Security footage leaked online showing him kissing another woman in a nightclub more than one time. On top of that, video footage showed him going to a hotel with that same woman that he was kissing in the club. After the scandal blew over and she gave birth to their daughter, she did decide to forgive him and stayed with him. But then later down the road, it was revealed that he had cheated once again, but with Kylie Jenner's best friend, Jordan Woods, Woods, who was basically a sister to Khloe and the rest of their family. I remember when the video first broke the internet, it was crazy because like news articles announced that Khloe was in labor and then Tristan was out cheating while she's in the hospital. It was crazy. It was nuts. Yet she stayed. Halfway through our list at number 5 is Offset getting arrested. He was making a lot of negative headlines in 2020, but none of them compared to this one. The rapper was questioned by police while he was driving through a President Trump rally at the time, but it all happened while he was live streaming on Instagram. The cops confronted him while he was in the car and claimed that witnesses said they saw that he was waving an illegal weapon outside of the car window. When they asked him to get out of the car, he refused to, and then things started to get more serious and they had to remove him from the car. That is when the live stream stopped at that point, and then reports say that he was arrested. Later on, the Beverly Hills Police Department tweeted a statement that clarified Cardi B's cousin, Marcelo Almanzar, was in the passenger seat of Offset's car, and he was the one who was charged for carrying a concealed weapon and carrying a loaded handheld in public. So it wasn't actually Offset committing the crime, but he was still there and very involved in it. Moving on to number 4, we have the Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction. A moment caught on camera that will forever be remembered. You might have even guessed that it would be on this list. It wasn't just caught on camera though, it was actually aired live in front of the entire world. Back in 2004, she paired up with Justin Timberlake to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show, and as most of us know it, things did not go to plan. Near the end of the song, they were performing some of the rehearsed choreography, and Justin was supposed to pull off part of her costume, but instead of revealing what was underneath, he exposed her bare breast instead. One of the worst fails ever at the worst timing. It was said that at that halftime show, it had 140 million viewers that night. Rolling into number 3 is the Kanye West and Taylor Swift feud. I don't think anyone will ever forget the most cringe-worthy moment in award show history. The time in 2009 at the MTV Video Music Awards when Kanye West walked up on stage and grabbed the mic from her hand during the middle of her acceptance speech. She was accepting the award for Best Female Video when he took the mic and announced to the room, and the entire world, that she did not deserve the award and that Beyonce should have won it. He gave a big speech about how Beyonce's video for Single Ladies and how it was the best music video ever created, apparently, which was pretty good, but like, rude. The entire thing was incredibly awkward, and even Beyonce felt horrible about the situation and looked horrified when he did it. But later in the show, when Beyonce won an award, she called Taylor up on stage to let her finish her speech during her speech time, so it was really cute. Rolling into the number 2 spot, we have Paris Hilton. I'm sure you can guess which one this is. Another sex tape scandal that we could never forget. It's tough to say if this was technically caught on camera or not since she participated in the video, but the whole scandal has been a huge controversy because a lot of people think that it was a publicity stunt. Back in 2003, her tape was allegedly leaked online, but things seemed to be a bit sketchy. The video was called One Night in Paris and showed footage of her and her ex-boyfriend Rick Salomon. But when it was leaked, the video footage at that point was 3 years old, so people didn't know why it just randomly came out 3 years later. Paris claimed that her ex leaked it, but people think she did it because it was leaked just before the premiere of her new reality show. I personally don't want to say that she leaked it in case she really didn't, because that is a horrible thing to have something intimate and personal leaked online like that, but all the articles I have read claim that it was a PR stunt and that she did benefit from it. If you know what I'm saying. She got money. Winning the number 1 place is the Britney Spears umbrella drama. While it may have seemed funny at the time, in more recent years we learned that it was actually more serious than anyone knew, and Britney was really struggling with mental health issues at that time. The incidents became a meme and a gif for many years, but now it's not so funny anymore. Back in 2007, we saw footage of her freaking out on paparazzi and smashing their car with an umbrella. In the same night, we also saw footage of her going to a hair salon and shaving off all her hair, and then getting a tattoo just a few moments later. The night was very chaotic and people didn't understand why she was just spiraling out of control. The umbrella from the incident was actually kept by the paparazzi man who got attacked, and 10 years after the incident he auctioned it off in LA and was starting the bid for $50,000. Kicking off our countdown at number 10 is the Miley Cyrus kiss. You are probably wondering which one. It was the one that surprised everyone because it was so random and came shortly shortly after the news that she had split from her husband Liam Hemsworth. In the summer of 2019, photos went viral showing Miley on vacation kissing and cuddling with Caitlyn Carter, Brody Jenner's wife. People were very confused, but turns out Caitlyn and Brody had split very recently, and so did Liam and Miley. So the pictures were also a shock not only to fans, but just everyone involved. Their fling only lasted a month, but Caitlyn has since opened up about how hard it was for her. She said, "I went on vacation with a female friend. The next thing I knew, I was in love with her. Until that trip, it had never crossed my mind that I was even capable of loving a woman the way I loved her." She told herself that all her relationships after that one will be kept more private. Even though she and Miley did try to keep it private, the paparazzi got them. I remember they're kissing, they were under a hat trying to kiss, and it was like, busted, ladies. Up next, number 9, we have Hugh Grant getting caught with a lady of the night, if you know what I mean. It was back in 1995 when he was caught on the Sunset Strip having an affair, paying a woman to get intimate with him in his car. He got busted and was arrested for lewd conduct in a public place. The news itself was a huge scandal because he was a huge Hollywood celebrity getting caught in the act, but it was a very sticky situation because he was with his longtime girlfriend at the time, Elizabeth Hurley. So not only did he publicly cheat on her, but it happened with someone that he paid. The two of them still tried to work through it as she chose to forgive him at the time, but things did not work out. In the end, she ended up leaving him 5 years later after this scandalous incident. Sliding into number 8 is the infamous Princess Diana affair. This one could be seen as the biggest affair in all of Hollywood history since it involved people with such royalty. It was back in 1992 when The Sun leaked a transcript of phone calls that were captured between Princess Diana and James Gilby. The secret phone calls revealed the affair she was having on Prince Charles at the time, as the two of them were still married. It was a massive scandal, but got even more controversial when it was revealed that Charles was also having an affair with his now wife, Camilla Parker Bowles. So both members of royalty did not remain loyal in their marriage, and obviously the rest of the world was freaking out about it. In spot number 7, we have Kanye West has a new girlfriend. Controversy sparked when photos surfaced online of Kanye with another woman not long after he split from Kim Kardashian. Photos showed Kanye with Irina Shayk having a romantic stroll in France shortly after the news broke that he got a divorce from Kim. Reports say that they stayed together in this very boutique hotel and they were celebrating his 44th birthday. Kanye's 44? Oh my god. I didn't know he was that old. No offense. Rumors claim that the romance began last month, with claims that they were secretly dating this whole time. But then just days after these pictures went viral, more photos of Irina surfaced of her with her ex, Bradley Cooper, who is also the father of her child. The two of them share a daughter and they have been co-parenting for some time now, but people aren't sure what it means for them, like these pictures. Witnesses who saw them out in public said it looked like they were just enjoying some family time together. So everything is still up in the air, but articles are still referring to Irina as Kanye's girlfriend, so. Next up at number 6, we have Britney Spears getting called a terrible mother. When asking Britney about it, this scandal was just one big misunderstanding, but to the public, it was something very serious. In February of 2006, the paparazzi got photos of Britney driving in her car with her infant son on her lap instead of in a car seat in the back. The photos went viral immediately, and media outlets began calling her a bad mother, obviously concerned for the safety of her child. But Britney tried to explain what happened and said that she was in a, I quote, horrifying, frightful encounter with the paparazzi. She said it was just a spur-of-the-moment thing that she needed to get out of there as quickly as possible for her safety as well as her son's, and she didn't have time to just stand there and buckle him in the car seat. Her intentions were to just leave the area to get away from the paparazzi and then buckle him in his seat like usual, but of course, this was still a very dangerous decision and situation. At number 5, we have LeAnn Rimes and Eddie Cibrian cheating scandal. This one was messy. The two of them were co-stars in the 2009 movie Northern Lights, but they seemed to grow a closer relationship than just co-stars. At the time, LeAnn was married to the dancer Dean Shermitt for 9 years, and Eddie was married to model Brandy Granville. During the shoot of their movie, they upgraded their friendship to another level, and surveillance footage caught the whole thing on tape. Video footage from a restaurant showed the two of them having dinner together and even sharing a kiss and holding hands. Even though the footage showed them straight up kissing. The two of them denied infidelity, which just made people even more angry at the situation because, like, you got caught. What do you mean?
Cruising into number 4, we have ASAP Rocky's arrest. It was a very dramatic event in 2019 when TMZ released a video showing that the rapper got into a street fight while he was in Sweden. Just days later, he was detained by the Swedish court for a suspected attack. It didn't help that there was video footage linking him to the case, but he maintained the claim that he was acting in self-defense. His detainment made worldwide news and even got the attention of Kim Kardashian and former President Donald Trump, who warned Sweden there would be negative consequences if they did not release him from prison. He ended up being found guilty of the assault but was able to avoid jail time. Instead, he was handed a suspended sentence after the court found that the incident was not of such serious nature to warrant more time behind bars. He did pay the victim $1,300 in damages, and that was it. Taking third place is Lamar Odom's paparazzi freakout. Celebrities having a little freakout on the paparazzi isn't anything new, but this one crossed the line and took things too far. The NBA star was exposed in some leaked video footage where he was yelling at a paparazzi man and destroying all of his equipment. Turns out the pap had asked him about his affair on Khloe Kardashian at the time, and he lost his cool. He found the pap's car, which was parked nearby, and he took a crowbar, opened it, and started throwing all of his camera equipment in the middle of the road. Even after he had thrown it on the ground, he went over to it, picked it up, and just kept smashing it to make sure that it was broken. Tons of people were driving by, so fans were just standing there confused watching the whole thing happen. The man ended up pressing charges though, and Lamar paid him for new equipment and apologized. Taking over our number 2 spot is Mel Gibson's leaked audio. Back in 2012, there was a crazy incident that went down between Mel and screenwriter Joe Esterhaz. Joe and his family were actually staying at Mel's home in Costa Rica when he went off on a crazy rant that left them terrified. What happened was, Mel was supposed to direct a movie called The Maccabees, but Warner Brothers passed on it after reading the script, which apparently Joe had written. Joe claimed that Mel purposely sabotaged the film, which was about a famous 2nd century BC Jewish revolt, and said that he did it for anti-Semitic reasons. The audio from his rant leaked because Joe's son had recorded it on his iPod. In his rant, he was lashing out at Joe for apparently not working hard enough on the script and blaming him for the reasons the movie was not moving forward. You can hear him cursing and throwing things, and Joe says he released the audio on purpose so that everyone could see how Mel is behind closed doors. We already knew that though. His DUI, his other racist rant that he went on. We already know. In our number 1 spot is Kurt Cobain. The most serious and controversial scandal on this list was the passing of the legendary musician and the debate that still remains around it. In 1994, he was found passed away in his home from a self-inflicted shotgun wound to the head. That is what the police report conducted at the time, and photos of the crime scene were leaked online. People immediately started investigating the photos and then speculated on whether or not it was really self-inflicted. Some people pointed the finger at his then wife Courtney Love. Since that day, tons of theories have floated around about who it may have been and what really happened to him. Honestly, if it wasn't for the released photos and the final letter that was found in his home, people probably wouldn't have been as skeptical. The letter was inconsistent and raised a lot of questions, and the position of his body in the photos and then the things around him in the scene just didn't add up, and it still remains a mystery to this day. Starting us off at number 10 is Billie Eilish canceled. She recently became the newest celebrity to get canceled after an old video of her resurfaced and went viral on TikTok. A video clip was shared on TikTok and showed Billie lip syncing to a song which includes a derogatory term towards Asian people. She mouthed the word in the video and people were not impressed. More videos then began to surface of her speaking in this gibberish voice, which was interpreted as a derogatory mock Asian accent. She was taking the heat online and went silent for a while before finally speaking out. She posted a long post on her Instagram story apologizing and explained that at that time when she mouthed the word, she was only 13 or 14 years old and didn't know that it was a derogatory term. As for the accent, she stood firm on the fact that she's always spoken in these weird, funny voices her whole life and said that she was not mocking the Asian community at all. She continued to apologize though if things were misinterpreted and said that she is still listening and still learning.
Up next, number 9, we have Kim Kardashian's commercial fail. At this point, the Kardashians are getting used to being accused for photoshopping their images, but she was honestly caught red-handed during her recent Skims commercial. Her newest ad for her brand Skims, a body shapewear line, showed her lying sideways on the ground and running her fingers across her body. But fans were quick to point out that when her finger dragged along her hip, it went all like distorted and wavy in a way that fingers don't bend. One TikTok video which showed the commercial fail quickly reached over 20 million views with the caption, "Who approved of this editing?" The video flooded with comments of people saying it was so disappointing to see that her body was edited and that this is the message she is sending out to her fans with her body shapewear brand. BuzzFeed reached out to Kim for comment, but she did not want to comment on it. However, the ad was pulled not long after, and a Skims spokesperson told Page Six, immediately after it was noticed by the team, the video was pulled and the glitch-free version was uploaded and ran for the remainder of the time on air. So apparently it was a glitch. I'm not buying it. You can, but I'm not buying it. Sliding into number 8 is the Kristen Stewart cheating scandal. It's hard to forget the time when the actress crushed the hearts of millions of Twilight fans, also along with her boyfriend's heart. It was in 2011 when she got caught on camera cheating on her boyfriend and co-star Robert Pattinson. Paparazzi photos surfaced showing Kristen making out with another man. But the scandal caused a ton of controversy because she was caught kissing Rupert Sanders, who is actually the director of her movie The Snow White and the Huntsman, and he was also married. He was 41 years old at the time and Kristen was only 22, and he was married to Liberty Ross, who was also the mother of their 2 children. The steamy makeout pictures were everywhere, so she could not deny this one. Instead, she issued a public apology, but Robert never forgave her. They split. That was it. I was heartbroken. I remember it very clearly. In spot number 7, we have Madonna, Christina, and Britney kissing. It has now gone down in history as one of the biggest moments caught on camera, even becoming a viral gif and meme. If this whole thing happened in 2021, it would never be a controversy, but things were a lot different back in 2003 when it happened. It was during the MTV Video Awards when Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, and Madonna performed together and ended up locking lips. Madonna just felt the need to rock the boat a little bit and kiss both of them during the live performance. Because times were so different back then, the cameras switched their shots quickly and cut to a shot of Justin Timberlake's very confused reaction. He was dating Britney at the time and looked just as confused as everyone else did. They ended up cutting the kiss shots out and they did not televise it, but the footage and photos were already all over the internet and they live on to this day. What an iconic moment. Moving on to number 6, we have Christina Aguilera's spray tan. Hers was more of an embarrassing moment than a scandal, but either way, I'm sure she wishes it did not happen to her. The moment was extra embarrassing because it was caught on camera live during a performance that aired. She was singing at the Etta James Memorial Service, and while her vocals were on point, her spray tan wasn't. The cameras captured her spray tan dripping down her legs. At first, people didn't know what it was, and people actually thought it might be blood dripping down her leg, but it was just her self-tanner. She must have got a spray tan too recently, and with the combination of the hot lights, maybe nerves, sweat, I'm not really sure, but her tan started to drip off. Spray tan 101, man. Don't get a spray tan if you know you're gonna be doing that. Halfway through the list at number 5 is Bryce Hall. That's all, just Bryce Hall. It is safe to say the TikTok star has had many scandals in his career so far, but one of them was a physical altercation that got caught on camera. It was actually 2 incidents on 2 different occasions. The first one was in late 2020 when he posted a video of he and his friends physically attacking an unknown man outside of a restaurant. He exposed himself and tweeted the video and said, "We don't condone violence, but if you punch someone in front of us, we'll have no choice but to defend ourselves." But Bryce's security guard
bodyguard was in the video with them, and everyone was quick to say that the altercation could have been avoided and that posting the video was showing that you did condone the violence. Then, just a few weeks after this first video, another one leaked online of Bryce attacking a server at a restaurant in LA. Apparently, in LA, it is illegal to vape in restaurants, and when the server told him to stop, he got mad and attacked the employee. The footage was crazy, and unfortunately, we cannot share it on here, so I apologize. But the fighting videos are pretty wild to watch. Here we are now at number 4, and we have Charlie Sheen's rant. You're probably wondering which one, because he's had so many, but who could ever forget the time he did a webcast series called Sheen's Corner and made a fool out of himself. After he was fired from his long-term CBS show 2.5 Men, he went on live streams and shared all of his thoughts and feelings on the situation, which was not pleasant. It was basically just a long rant where he stood in his kitchen smoking a cigarette and drinking alcohol. He admitted to the camera that he hadn't even had breakfast yet, but that he was polishing off a bottle of liquor instead. The whole stream was very erratic. He was making inappropriate jokes, blurting out random things, and just acting very manic. But in later years, he talked about that and said he had an addiction to alcohol and substances at that time, and his behavior was also a side effect to the steroids that he was taking. So it was more serious than we thought. I just thought he was crazy. He had a serious addiction at the time.
Taking over our third spot is Lynn Spears and the Pita Pit fight. A lot of people learned not to mess with Britney Spears' little sister back in 2015 after surveillance footage showed her doing something crazy. She was having lunch at a Pita Pit restaurant when a fight just broke out in the dining area, which actually included one of her friends. Jamie was not actually involved in the fight, and she was trying to break it up, but it was unsuccessful, so she did the unthinkable. She actually was able to grab her friend and pulled her out of this brawl, and then she walks behind the food counter and grabs a bread knife and starts waving it around as a warning to the people fighting. No one got hurt, and no, she did not actually use the knife on anyone, but who knew that this Nickelodeon star had that kind of fight in her? That is pretty badass, I'm not gonna lie. Swinging around a bread knife. I can't even imagine.
Taking over spot number 2 is Lindsay Lohan's pictures. Back in 2007, she was arrested for a DUI and was sentenced to 90 days in jail for violating the probation terms. She was ordered to go to rehab after that, but no one really knew how serious her addiction was. It wasn't until photos leaked 3 years later in 2010 that the truth came out about her substance addiction. Photos leaked online showing Lindsay taking substances, and fans were shocked to see how dark things were for her. The pictures were allegedly from a Hollywood party in 2007 that Lindsay and her friends attended. A source talked about it and said, "These images with the syringe are terrifying. What no one knows for certain is just how often Lindsay does substances or exactly what she does." The photos that they were referring to was a picture of an unidentified person putting a syringe into Lindsay's lower back. We obviously cannot show these images, but that's what it was. The positive news was she attended a 90-day court-ordered rehab program following her release from prison in August and was said to have sobered up. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie, go Google these pictures. She made out with Paris Hilton in one. She has a syringe and another one that she's putting into her arm. I couldn't believe it. It was so dark and so twisted. I'm happy she's doing better, and I hope she truly is. Earning our number 1 spot is Jeff Wittick's accident. The YouTuber had a horrific eye injury during one of his vlog stunts, but no one really knew what happened until recently. He came forward with the truth during a documentary series called Don't Try This at Home. In the series, he explained what happened during a stunt on an excavator that was being controlled by David Dobrik. The horrific accident was actually captured on camera, and it showed people, including Jeff, telling David not to move the excavator so fast. David was the one in control of the whole thing, and he is the reason the accident happened, no doubt. The images and video are so graphic that they cannot be shown online. Jeff actually charged $20 on his Patreon for people to gain access to the gruesome footage. In his documentary series, doctors actually tell him that he was just inches away from his life being threatened. For this reason, and for how David handled the accident aftermath, people were furious at David and they started canceling him online. It was a big, messy, chaotic drama. It was just a lot of drama. Good news is Jeff has undergone multiple major surgeries on his face and his eye, And right now he is still able to see out of that injured eye. However, that could change for him.